Just at that moment, a new wave of troops comes over. They have a lieutenant with them. He sees us and shouts, move on, close up, and his command does what my blows couldn't manage. Himmelstas hears the superior officer, looks around as if he had just woken up, and runs to catch up. I follow on and see him bounding along the old smart parade ground Himmelstas again, who has overtaken the lieutenant and is way out in front. Continuous fire, defensive fire, curtain fire, trench mortars, gas, tanks, machine guns, hand grenades, words, but they all embrace the horrors of the world. Our faces are crusted with dirt. Our thoughts are a shambles. We are dead tired. When the attack comes, a lot of our men have to be punched hard so that they wake up and go along. Our eyes are red and swollen. Our hands are ripped. Our knees are bleeding, and our elbows raw. Is it weeks that pass, or months, or years? It is only days. We watch how time disappears before our eyes in the ashen faces of the dying. We shovel food into ourselves. We run, we throw, we shoot, we kill. We hurl ourselves down. We are weak and dulled, and the only thing that keeps us going is that there are even weaker, even more dulled, even more helpless men than us who look at us wide-eyed and take us for gods who can sometimes outrun death himself. In the few rest periods, we try to reach them. Look, see that one like a toffee apple? That's a mortar coming across. Keep down, it'll go over us. But if it comes your way, get the hell out. You can run away from those. We make sure that they can hear the malicious buzz of the little ones that you barely notice. They have to learn to recognize a sound like the buzzing of flies amongst all the noise. We teach them these are much more dangerous than the big ones that you can hear long before. We show them how to hide from airmen, how to play dead when they are overtaken by an attack, how to prime a hand grenade so that it explodes half a second before impact. We teach them to dive for cover as fast as they can into a shell hole when they see a shell with an instantaneous fuse, and we demonstrate for them how to clean out a whole trench with a handful of grenades. We teach them the difference in the detonation time between enemy hand grenades and ours, make sure they know what a gas shell sounds like, and show them all the tricks that might just save them from being killed. They listen obediently, but when it all starts, they are usually so worked up that they get it wrong again after all. Hyavestus is carried off with his back torn open. You can see the lung throbbing through the wound with every breath he takes. I manage to take his hand. That's me done for, Paul, he groans, and bites his arm because of the pain. We see men go on living with the top of their skulls missing. We see soldiers go on running when both of their feet have been shot away. They stumble on their splintering stumps to the next shell hole. One lance corporal crawls for a full half-mile on his hands, dragging his legs behind him, with both knees shattered. Another man makes it to a dressing station with his gut spilling out over his hands as he holds them in. We see soldiers with their mouths missing, with their lower jaws missing, with their faces missing. We find someone who has gripped the main artery in his arm between his teeth for 2 hours so that he doesn't bleed to death. The sun goes down, night falls, the shells whistle, life comes to an end. The scrap of churned up earth where we are has been held against superior forces, and we have only had to give up a few hundred yards. But for every one of those yards, there is a dead man. Relief troops take over from us. The truck wheel rolls along beneath us. We stand numbed, and when they shout, "Mind the wire," we bob down. It was summer when we came past here. The trees were still green, but now they have begun to look autumnal, and the night is gray and damp. The truck stopped. We climb down, a ragged bunch, all that there is left of a whole list of names. In the dark to either side of us, there are people calling out the numbers of regiments and companies, and with every shout, a little handful moves away from the rest. A sparse, tiny handful of dirty, pallid soldiers, a terribly small handful, a terribly small remainder. Then someone shouts out the number of our company. We can hear that it is our company commander, so he must have made it. His arm is in a sling. We move towards him, and I pick out Kat and Albert. We join together, prop each other up, and look at each other. And we hear our number called again, and then again. He can go on calling, but they won't hear him in the clearing stations or out in no man's land. Again, B Company, over here. And then more quietly, "Nobody else from B Company?" He is silent, and then his voice sounds hoarse when he asks, "Is that all?" And then he gives the command, "Number off." It is a gray morning. It was still summer when we went up the line, and there were 150 of us. Now we are shivering. It is autumnal. The leaves rustle. The voices are tired as they call out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are silent after 32. And there is a long silence before the voice asks, "Any more?" and waits a bit, and then says quietly, "By squads," but then breaks down and can only finish the command with B Company, painfully. B Company, march at ease. A short line, stumbles off into the morning. 32 men.